Hello and welcome to Skyflowers.Tv. Today I'm just taking a bit of a break from working on my slideshow for the Australian Kinesiology Conference, and I'm just taking a couple of extra photos that I'll be showing off in that presentation. But basically all of this that you see here is all of the plants that I'll be taking for the actual display and to hand around during the lecture, because I'm a big fan of a hands-on approach to flower therapy. One of the reasons that is that we've sort of, because of the way flower remedies are packaged and bottled, everybody sort of is relating to bottles, books and charts, to sort of for their information. Whereas if you're relating to something like this in a tangible form, it means something very different to the human spirit and to our instinctual understanding of what this remedy is used for. The one I've got in my hand is Ichmea ricavata. I'll just give you a bit of a close-up there just to get the sun out. You might notice a few ants running around on there, just gathering a bit of nectar. These are quite sweet if you actually take a drop on the tongue. But getting back to this example, this is the one that this is the exact plant I'll be handing around during the lecture for people to get a bit of a look, close-up look and feel of the thing. Normally, when you sort of study flower remedies, it's mostly done from a book or slides on a screen, and depending on how good your photos are, it's sort of like it could be a bit hit or miss. Whereas if you're actually handing around the actual plants themselves, it's always sort of like a very up close and personal sort of experience. I know you can't do that with full grown trees, but you certainly can with plants like this one. And one of the reasons I hand this around, simply because this is the classroom example we'll be using during the actual conference lecture. A good number of the slides are actually using this as the example, and we'll focus on this and basically sort of pinpoint a few of the characteristics of this plant, some of the telltale signatures like the red colouring there, the thorns on the leaves, and even the way the flowers are situated there. That actually tells the therapist what kind of remedy this is and basically what to expect when it gets used with their client. So the whole idea of my lecture is basically it's about integrating kinesiology with flower therapy, and it's to bring back some of the more natural aspects of flower therapy back into the practice of kinesiology. Because when you have an understanding of the plants that are used in the remedies, you can basically pinpoint what issue the client has. Not only that, you can anticipate the problems they'll have during a course of drops, and you can also work out also what sort of aftercare they're going to need once they leave your clinic. To give you a bit of a close-up there, because it's a bit of a gorgeous flower, this one. Now, why I use this as the example is because it's a very shapely plant, plus it highlights a couple of the key points about flower therapy that sort of get missed or glossed over simply because the plants have sort of been taken out of the study, so to speak, and people are just learning sort of remedies sort of rote, or just matching, conditions, what they've learnt in a book or what their teacher tells them. Whereas a flower therapist is able to strip down a plant and tell you from the different growth characteristics and the different signature traits this plant has, what it can actually do. In this case, it's actually giving the therapist a warning. Red, that sort of intense colouring there, that's nature's way of saying, be careful, be on the lookout, stop, and there's a bit of a warning going on here. The flowers are feelings. The prickly bract, the flower holder, is basically, this is somebody with guarded feelings. So again, sort of just those three basic and most obvious signatures, the red colouring, the prickles, and the flowers, basically is telling the therapist this is a very intense issue, it's a sore point, and to apply a bit of caution with this particular person and this particular issue, because this is somebody who could easily go into a healing crisis on the table simply because the issue is a very sore one and they're very guarded and very protective about it. So this is basically nature saying that the way to approach this issue is through a posture of caution, for the therapist to apply caution and come from that perspective when treating their client. Certainly don't just barrel on, give drops, and then get on with the therapy. This is basically an indicator to say back off a little bit, slow down, and take a look at what's actually going on here. And you know, that's one reason why I use this, because it's a classic case study of flower therapy, and why you really need to know the plants you're dispensing. Just on a bit of a sideway tangent, while we're looking at flowers here, I'll give you a bit of a close-up of this one. This is a Tillandsia Aeranthos. Aeranthos is basically air flower. Phlos is flowers in Greek, and it's basically, it's been named the air flower simply because these grow. This isn't out of the ground. This would naturally grow on the side of a tree or a cactus or some sort of rock, and basically that is fully alive, that is fully breathing, living, and drawing in moisture. The Tillandsias pull in moisture in through their leaves. There's sort of silver scales on the surface here. They're actually tiny suction cups that pull in the moisture. So this plant is fully self-sufficient and thriving. And as you can see, those flowers, that's basically indicating it's fully healthy and going through living its natural life cycle. So certainly, again, don't take pity on this plant for being out of the ground. This is how they naturally grow. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I don't know what the camera's doing with the focus there, but look at that colour. Bit of a hard plant to come by, and as you can see, I've got quite a number in flower. They'll be for sale at the conference. I'll be making those plants readily available for sale. This basket here, as I was saying, these are some of the plants I'll be handing around. Couple of these examples, probably this one and that one. I'll hand around the audience just so they can get a bit of a sort of up close and personal touch on the plants that we're sort of talking about in the slideshow. That's it from me. I just thought I'd give a bit of a quick update while I sort of take a few photos and a few do a bit of mental preparation for this slideshow, because you know I always like to sort of go back and revise the notes and you know, take a look at what the plants are sort of what they're doing in the garden at the time, and sort of bring a bit of that sort of live and you know, sort of what's happening right now in the garden into my presentations, into my workshops and classes. Simply because we are natural therapists, which means we're nature therapists. So if you aren't interacting with nature during the learning process of natural therapies, then I really do question what's going on in that particular classroom, because natural therapies is about getting back out into nature, getting people over their issues, getting them out of that clinic and getting them back into their lives, you know, and whatever it is they do naturally in their lives, whether it's walking on the beach or going to visit friends or travelling overseas, whatever it is that people sort of do just in their ordinary existence. That's what natural therapies is supposed to be about. It's not just about, you know, taking natural products and supplements and all that kind of thing. That's good, but natural therapies is about bringing people back into nature, into themselves, so they can just, you know, live a happy life like these plants are here. That's it from me. I'll speak to you again in another video, and if you haven't before, subscribe below, and over and out. Bye for now.